Hey guys, welcome to Results Driven by RW. So thankful that all you guys can be on the Zoom on tonight, and also those that are watching us on other platforms. So excited for you being here with us online. I know there's many things you could be doing. Thank you so much for being a part of what we're doing. I do apologize in advance. My voice might fade in and out. I'm just in the process of trying to get me reset, refocused. And sometimes to do that, you got to take some time out, regroup, and watch things kind of work out the way that they should. Okay. So now on tonight, I kind of want to jump right on in, which I'm going to. And I want to talk tonight about perseverance. And guys that are with me, and you've been guys and gals that have been with me, you know that I have to deal with the mental as well as the physical. In other words, I'm going to give you some applicable things to do, but also mentally know that there's still some work mentally some have to do before they can even make these next steps. Okay. A little bit of housekeeping. I want you guys to take notes if you can. I'm going to drop some bombs on tonight. So I want you to make sure you take some notes. Some of this stuff is going to really resonate, if not now, very, very soon in your future. Okay? If you can, I'd love to see your smiling faces. So if you're sitting home lounging, go grab your wig, put it on, and come on back and put your screen on, okay? No judgment, no judgment, no judgment. If you got to go get your teeth, put those teeth in. No judgment tonight, no judgment, okay? But I'd love to see your smiling face. If you got questions, please, while we're going through my monologue, put them in the chat. That way we can come back to them. If I don't come back to them, bring them back to my attention so I can make sure I follow through, okay? Also, matter of fact, check my chat real quick. If you would put your name and your business in the chat real quick. Let's see, make sure my chat is working on tonight. And I'm looking at two screens, so if you see me look down, it's not that I'm ignoring you. I'm just looking at another screen also. So yeah, so go ahead and see. Let's see, make sure my chat's working. Appreciate you guys. Good. Only unmute when called upon. Because like I said, I'm going to do a few moments, just a few moments tonight on a little monologue, and then we're going to get in some dialogue and try to take what we're talking about to the next level. All right. Hold on one second. I got somebody that's buzzing in. There we go. All right. So with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and get into our lesson for tonight. So this week's wins, I kind of like to deal with this, and you guys know I'd like to hear about your wins. I got some amazing wins from some of my people. Some of them are personal clients, so they're not on our Zoom because they're just doing their thing. But they like to pay me $1,000 a month to tell them how to do their thing. Okay, but I'm going to probably share a little bit with their wins too as we're going along here. So real quick, I got my Zoom, I got my voice fading, but you guys are gonna help me out tonight. So give me this week's win. I don't care how small, how minute, how whatever you think it is, because we always focus on what we didn't do right. But what about for one moment, look at something you did right. Oh, did I say the wrong thing? Yeah. We focus on things we do wrong, but tonight let's focus on the things we did right. So real quick, give me this week's win, whatever it is, family, business, life. Angie, what you got? You look like you got that face like, yeah, I got something really good to say. Cool. Thank you for dropping in Atlanta.
It's personal. I went to church. I physically went to church. I haven't been to church in years. I went to church. And then in addition to that, I finally got to sit down with my doctor. I did an MRI about 2 weeks ago and got a resolution about my issue, and we're about to plan for a surgery. So that was my win. That I went to church, got a good message, and got some things going on with my health that we're about to get resolved. So I'm real happy about that.
Good, excellent. Sound like you took big steps to move yourself in the right direction. I love it. Great job, Angie. That spiritual, mental, physical, that I'm telling you, you get those three linking and working, there's no stopping you. No stopping you. Who else we got? Give me a this week's win, another this week's win.
I got a win.
Come on with it, Dr. Tiffany. What you got?
It's personal as well. So on Sunday, my mom, she had got out of bed and she's on hospice. So she got out of bed and she wasn't doing good at all. And so we finally was able to get her back in bed and all that type of stuff. And She was having a hard time. Her heart rate was up, her oxygen was down, her blood pressure was skyrocketing through the roof. She was kind of unresponsive and all that type of stuff. And so today, she was feisty, she was hungry, she wanted some water, and her temperature and her pressure and everything is back on track. And so that is definitely a very good win.
Man, that is a huge win. I promise. Because once again, they affect your business. And so I totally get it. I totally get it. Thank you for sharing that on tonight. All right. Who else we got? I know we got one more person. I know you got to win. What'd you get this week?
Hey, Pastor, I'll go ahead and share all the way out here in Atlanta.
Good to see you on tonight, young man. Good to see you.
Thank you, sir. So yeah, I've applied for a new position at the credit union I'm at, and I actually got a call yesterday that I was selected for the job, and it's awesome, man. I'm excited. It's a large increase, a lot of other perks that comes with it, and man, I'm excited about it. So yeah, it's good.
Wow, that's what I'm talking about, man. See,
Sure.
these things are happening, guys. This is amazing. This is good stuff. This is the stuff that helps you keep going to know that, hey, what you want is right there. You just got to keep moving forward. That's what we're going to be talking about tonight. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I remember when you started, brother, and now I'm so proud of you, man. Crazy, wow.
And a lot of that, and a lot of that is because of, who you are and being that mentor and stuff to me. So yeah. So anyway, yeah.
Man, great stuff, man. Appreciate you, man. All right, one more win. I love these wins, man. These wins are good.
I'll take it. All right. So I did a Glory Hub and invited some folks in from out of town to worship. And they came to my home and they worshiped and enjoyed themselves. And because the people that were coming were wearing some of the product that I sell, I made sales this weekend. I was so excited about that. Whoop, whoop.
What I'm talking about.
Good to sell when you're supposed to sell.
In this group, anytime you make money, that's celebrated. And some circles, you can't money. Excellent. Great job. Good job. Awesome, guys. Well, all right, let's jump on in tonight. So on tonight.
Okay, I have a quick win this week.
Come on with it.
Win.
Come on with it.
I'm sorry. I had a quick win I wanted to share. So yesterday I did my first training session to kick off the tax season. And so we now have an addition of 6 new preps that have been added additionally to the team. So we started with 1, now we're up to 6. So God is good, and I'm excited about what he's going to do this tax season.
You know what? I'm going to say first thing is, wife, thank you for letting me coach you. Thank you. Not all women, especially wives, will allow their husbands to coach them. But just so you guys know, I sat her down. We went through this and boom, she just exploded. And between her and Robbie, who's coming on, they're opening another location this year. And matter of fact, I'm looking at a 3rd location. So you guys, I'm not telling you what I heard. I'm telling you what I know, and the results, they're there. All right. Great job. Ms. Williams, I'm not trying to take all the credit. I'm not. I'm excited about you doing what you do. But I did want to give that shout out. And this is for some of you guys maybe that be married, that you're, maybe you and your spouse or your significant other isn't going eye to eye. It's good and humbling when you can learn how to know what a person's role is in a position and allow them to be that in your life, even though it might be outside of what you're comfortable with. So, wife, I'm excited. I'm thankful for you. Great job. And I'm looking forward to just explosion, which is awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. All right. So guys, I want to remind you that we were supposed to be having our event on this Saturday, but unfortunately, I had to cancel it. And so I did. So we're going to reschedule. I have several events that are coming up next year. And so you're going to get that calendar here probably in the month of December. And I'm going to show you all the events we're going to be doing for next year. And we're excited about the different ones that will be coming up to help you. I not only want to help you develop your business, but also want to help you develop other streams of income. So I'm going to be showing you things on how to stop just focusing on one stream income, but looking at multiple ways. Because once you do start making money in your business, we need to start showing you how to make some passive income outside your business. All right. So we're going to talk about that too. All right. So tonight, talk about perseverance. So perseverance is just persistence in doing something despite difficulty or delay. I think a lot of times in life, a lot of people we're talking to, at least I'm coaching and talking to, their biggest thing is they quit too soon. I was just talking to one of my clients today, and he was making calls, and the calls weren't working, and the calls weren't working, and the calls weren't working. So I told him, keep making the calls, keep making the calls, keep making the calls. And so he keeps making the calls, and boom, it exploded. And before you know it, just a couple of calls later, it made him an additional almost 15,000 from some real estate sales. And so I'm here to tell you guys, when you see you have a goal, you have to keep going towards that goal, no matter what's going on around you. Most people won't persevere long enough or stay in something long enough to see the real results. Most of people that I deal with is not that they're far off from it. You guys seen that example where you get that one guy that's going and digging and he's getting ready to get to a goal, and he actually stops right before he gets to what he's trying to get to. And then the other guy that keeps on going and hits it. And my question with that picture is the other guy smarter? No. The other guy just had more perseverance. In other words, the other guy decided and made a decision that he wasn't going to stop until he did what he said he would do. And a lot of this, guys, comes back to now integrity. Matter of fact, type in my chat, integrity. Integrity is doing what you say you're going to do. Some of you, I'm going to beat you up right here. I'm going to slap you around just a little bit. You say you're going to do something, and you keep saying you're going to do something, and then you reaffirm that you're going to do it. And then some of my spiritual people, you're going to declare, you're going to decree it, you're going to and then all that. That sounds good, but the question is, are you going to do the thing? When? And the question is when? Okay, when are you going to do it? You know, because some of you, I need to let you know, someday is not a day, okay? Someday is not a day. So we're going to stop working off of, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it to let's get it done, okay? So we're going to really push you now to go beyond the tape. In other words, get to the point to where we set a goal, and the goal is not to hit the goal, is to go beyond the goal. Go beyond the goal, okay? But the only way that comes is to you keep on pressing forward. I think there's one word, which is grit, which a lot of people now, I don't know what is going on in today's world, but people just won't be gritty anymore. In an aspect of going to the point to where no matter what happens, I'm going to make some things work. I'm going to make some things happen. Because remember, guys, it's not going to be resources. It's going to be resourcefulness. So in other words, it's not how much resources you have. It's how much resourceful you can be with what you do have. Okay? Because it's never going to be what you can't do. The question is, what can you do with what you have? A lot of you are trying to get other bits and pieces, and I'm going to wait till this comes. Get that. I need you to get gritty with it. Get to the point to where no matter what you think you don't have, at least start moving in that direction, okay? Now, what does grit look like? It's courage. And really, to me, courage is just being afraid, but doing it anyway. So do it afraid. In other words, get to the point to where you get to where you're gonna do what you said you was gonna do. Some of you need courage just to start doing reels. I'm not talking one or two a year. I'm talking about one every other day, one every day. Getting to the point to where you're actually doing it because you said you would do it and sticking to it, okay? Because a lot of times we say we're gonna do something, but that little fear monster gets in there and we don't do what we said we were gonna do. And a lot of that's just, you're afraid. You're afraid to make the big steps. You're afraid to make the big jumps. You're afraid to make the big leaps. And you can't allow fear to stop you. If anything, I'm getting to the point now to where fear actually fuels me. You know, I jumped out of an airplane. Why? Number one, because I kind of wanted to do it. Number two, I felt like it was the one thing I was afraid of the most. And sometimes in order to face your fear, you must actually go through and do what you thought you couldn't do by going through it. It's almost like any mothers on here that had kids. If you're a mother, you got how many kids you got? Mark on it. Set on in my chat how many kids you got. My mothers that been through childbirth. Okay. Now with childbirth, once you are in labor, there is no going back. There is no going. The only way out is through. There's a lesson I want to give you here. The only way to get that baby out is to go through the pain. And then once you have the baby, you forget about all the pain. This is the same way in your business, to where now there's some things that you got to go through it in order to get to what you're trying to get to. And some of that is the pain of having courage to keep on going. All right? Follow through to completion. Man, some of you, that's what I beat you. Complete what you said. In other words, get to the point of where you see the end from the beginning. Look at what you're trying to accomplish, start going towards it, but make sure you have follow through. So whatever you say you're going to do, make sure you complete what you said you're going to do. Some of you are ACE, what's that, ADHD? Somebody type it in there. Is it ADHD? Like, yeah, that's what it is. So some of you are so, you're all over the place. At some point, we got to get you to where you follow through on the first thing you said you were going to do. Stop chasing rabbits. Stop chasing rabbits. Stop going off on tangents on things that sound good and look good. I guarantee you, once you start going and people start seeing you be successful, they're going to start bringing more stuff to you. Now you have to have the fortitude to say that, hey, that looks good, but not for me. Hey, that sounds good, but not for me. In other words, staying the course and what you need to be doing and follow it to the completion of it. All right? Next is resilience. Grit looks like resilience. In other words, getting to the point where you can get resilient enough to where you stop saying what you can't do or what you don't have, and you focus more on what you do have and what you can do. Okay? That means now going beyond the point of nothing stops you. Like for me, when someone says no, it's a workaround for me. How can I work around that no? How can I bring them to where I want them to be, which is a yes? Okay? Last thing is, guys, grit looks like excellence versus perfection. Some of you guys are hammering perfection. Perfection is the killer of progress. I promise it is. You know, you can be so perfectly perfect, but I know so many people are so much smarter than me, but have not accomplished what I've accomplished only because they just didn't do what they said they would do. Okay? It's important that you guys now recognize I can't keep saying, as soon as everything comes together, as soon as I get this, as soon as I get that, as soon as I get the right phone, as soon as I get the right camera, as soon as I get the right. In other words, you guys are making reasons why you can't keep putting out content. Matter of fact, right now, if you're a content creator, type in my chat, I create content. And the reason I want you to do that, because you have to once again make this declaration, I create content. And if you create content, then who's promoting your content? If you're not putting it out there, then who's doing it? Oh, I know, you're waiting to get that camera. You're waiting to get that microphone. You're waiting to get that computer. You better get that iPhone 2, put it up there and start talking. In other words, do it and keep doing it until you get better, okay? And I guarantee you, in the meanwhile, you'll start getting it promoted and going forward. I want to tell some of you that people will pay you for what you already know. Not what you need to know more of, but what you already know. But you ain't telling nobody. You keeping yourself a secret. Shh, don't tell nobody. Hey, remember, guys, the only way people will flow you is if they know you. Write that down. The only way people will flow you is if they know you, okay? If they don't know you, then they can't flow you, okay? So get to that point. Now, get to a place to where you're on a mission. So on a mission that no matter what, you're unstoppable. Matter of fact, type in my chat, I am unstoppable. That's right, I'm throwing a lot of affirmations at you tonight. I am unstoppable. Because once you get to a point to where I am going to do this, no matter what it takes, no matter what it costs, I am on such a mission. I don't care how many things are going on around me. I'm going to stay the course on what I told myself I was going to do. All right? Because once you put yourself on this mission, no matter what happens, you won't stop until you complete it. I just had one of my great people, she running for judge. She just found out that it's a landslide. It's a landslide, okay? My girl didn't just win. She thumped on some folks. And matter of fact, I'm gonna have to get her to come on one of our sessions. But she thumped some folk. But just to think, 120 days ago, when I sat down, when I talked to her, she was like, well, I don't know. You know, what about this? What about that? I'm like, what are you talking about? Let's go. And here she is 120 days later, about to put on a position in the government. I don't know what could be better than that. I got brother Troy. Troy, he started working with me. We did one-on-one coaching. Don't you guys know, if you guys can, on next Monday, Troy, his first year in coaching, is going to the championship game, the state championship game. He's gonna be playing at Allegiant Stadium with his team on next Monday at 9 o'clock. If you guys can make it, let's go support Troy. I am so proud of this young man. But we started working together, and since then, wow, he's on a mission. It's like everything he's doing. I mean, he was already there before he met me, but now, wow, he's just on a whole nother plane and going so fast. It's amazing. So get yourself on a mission to where you really believe that there's nothing that can stop you from doing it. Okay? Now, here's what happens to some people. I'm almost done with my monologue. Some people quit silently. Now, matter of fact, in my chat, I want you to ask yourself, have you quit silently? In other words, you didn't just say, I quit, because that ain't you. But you kind of moonwalk back from what you said you was going to do. You lowered down your level a little bit of what you were trying to accomplish. You kind of looked at it in the scope of it and you said, I'm going to do some of it, but not all of it. Or I'm gonna get one person, but really, you need 6. I mean, how many on here can honestly say that I probably quit silently on some things? I'm gonna throw up both my hands, because there have been some things that I didn't say I quit, but in my mind, I was done. So I need you to think, how are people doing it? Why are people doing it? How do people quit silently? I think it's because no one is there monitoring them. And sometimes when no one is monitoring you and no one is watching, because me, the real person you are is the person you are when no one's watching. So if you lie to you, then you'll lie to other people too. If you tell you're gonna do dot, and you don't do it, then now if you quit on you, how much more are you gonna quit on your business? How much more are you gonna quit on your family? How much more are you gonna quit on your dream? Some of you, unfortunately, your dream is for sale. And here's the price: time. I don't have enough time to do it. I can't pay that price. Or some of you, it's gonna be your health, getting your body back together. That means you got to do a little bit more than what you've been doing before. Okay? But ask yourself, how have I quit silently in areas? Okay? And I want to throw this in there because motivation, what's the problem with it? It's only temporary. You're gonna be on the Zoom with me tonight. I want to pump you up, pump you up. I want you to get out there, go get it. And that's great. But then you have to persevere past the times of the things that you don't want to do. How many have realized already there's some stuff in your business you don't want to do? Good, because there's a lot of stuff in my business I don't want to do. So I hired it when I got the opportunity to do so. But there's still some stuff I don't like to do, but I love what I do. So what that means is now you have to persevere past even the bad things to get to where you really want to be, okay? But don't feed on motivation. Don't get to the point to where I need to be motivated, I need to be pumped up, because that's only temporary. And you really need to be persistent and keep going in spite of who's pumping you up or not pumping you up, okay? Focus on the end result while taking the steps to get there. In other words, get to the point, guys, that you start knowing what you want. And all of you that have had an individual coaching call with me, that's the first thing I hit you with is, what do you want? And then finding from where you want, what you want, how to get you there. That's my goal. My goal is to get you from what you want to how to get the actually thing that you're asking for, okay? But also taking the steps to get there. Not seen as one thing that's so big that you can't do anything with, okay? All right, guys, I hit you up with a bunch of stuff. I hit you up with some perseverance and all that good stuff, and it sounds good, but I want to hear from you, and I kind of want to make this part of Ask Me Anything, because ultimately, guys, when it comes to what you're trying to accomplish, what is it going to take to get you to that next level that you really know you should be. Because I mean, truth be told, where you're at, if you stop right now and looked around, just wherever you're at, guys, just look around. Is this the life you dreamed of? And if it's not, then I get it that it's, and here's the caveat. I know some of you is the best you've ever lived before. But what if you knew within you that there's still more? There's like a silent discontentment, because within you, if somebody else walked to your house and said, oh man, it's nice. Oh man, oh, this is great. Oh, you have a nice car. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, blah, blah. All that sounds good. But you know within your heart of hearts, this ain't it. And unfortunately, the people that you're around, they're probably about the same level as you and maybe a little lower than you. So they get excited about certain things that you do. I got a $2 raise. Somebody look at me with a $2 raise, I'm looking at them like, really? That's all you're doing? That's it, that's all you got. So it depends on what level you're at and what you're talking about, okay? So with that being said, I wanna hear from you on tonight. What are some of your struggles in going through to get to what you really want? Delshana, you're my far left. I can see you on my screen. What is that thing? What is that thing that you know what, maybe, man, I mean, because you got grit. I know you, D. You got grit. You got all these things working for you. But why haven't you obtained close to what you know you should have by now?
Honestly and transparently, I think because I put my efforts in the wrong spot. So while I have the clothing business and that line and stuff and trying to build that out, I make greater impact talking to people. And whether that's a coaching position or speaking on stages, I don't know, but there needs to be a hard pivot that I make to be before the people to guide, help, facilitate, transform, and impact, because that's where my money's at. That's where my money's at. That people are waiting to hear my voice, and they're wanting to hear my voice. They want to hear what I have to say. So I think, for me, honestly, it's like I've been saying this for a year and it hasn't happened yet. I need to lay out what I have and then kind of compartmentalize and put things in proper place and then move forward with that plan. Because there's a lot. There's a lot. And I shift throughout the year. Like I'll focus on flag, I'll focus on publishing, and I'll shift and focus on sales, and then I'll go back and forth. And I just, if it were put together and laid out, it wouldn't feel like a shift. It would be its season, or it would just be concurrently. And it wouldn't interfere with where I need to spend my energy. And so that's ultimately how I see where I'm at, see what I'm doing. And then of course the conflictual priorities. Like I want to make money today. Yet digital marketing is a thing, and the processes that have changed and the trend changes in that are real, and you have to make those necessary adjustments. So that's a little conflictual. Priorities are conflicting, because to make money today is like go buy a car, put it on Turo, let's go make some money. Or to really finesse and master the speaking stage today at today's time and go. So that's how I see me.
Beautiful. Well, we've talked, and just as a quick note, I think the biggest key is now going all in on one of those areas and really focusing there and staying there long enough to see it actually open up. That's the big key. I call it chase rabbits. A lot of us, we got to be so careful that next rabbit come by, we get distracted, and just that quick, we go on to something else instead of focusing on what do we do? What are we going? I just got a domain just the other day called, anyway, I'm working my social media side of it And it's so interesting as I look at it, because the questions are, who are you? What do you do? And it's so broad, but yet so defined. And so I get it. And then we're going to talk about that tomorrow. I get to meet with you tomorrow. So I'm excited. I'm excited. Cool. Andrew, Mr. Coleman, man, you're doing some big things. You got the promotion. You're about to be balling out of control, but there's still something in you that knows there's more. What is it, man?
You know, Mr. Williams, I think mine is I guess my biggest thing is I guess the fear thing, like, you know, if you fail, you know, for, you know, what my endeavor is doing, you know, teaching about finances, banking, you know, all that stuff. I think that I guess one of my biggest things is like, okay, what if I don't have people that don't show? I wouldn't necessarily make too big of a deal about it, because I know you got to build it up. But what happens is I would get discouraged, and it will make me not want to do it anymore. And I think that's what my biggest thing is with you know, me, you know, doing that. You know, how many podcasts are out there? How many different things are out there where people are teaching, you know, about finances, people teaching about banking and stuff like that. And I think that's my biggest thing, because I see so much out there, and it's like, okay, what makes my material different? But, you know, with something you said, which is flow, I forget how it was, flow you if they know you. And that's kind of how I kind of put that, you know, together to say, you know what makes mine different is that I'm me, I'm not them. And so my material is different. So, but to answer your question, I think that's what I have to get past, because that's really my biggest thing.
You know what I want you to do, and think about this. I want you to get an internal dossier, an internal resume, that when you sit down with you start recognizing all that you've accomplished. In other words, get to the point to where you started out in banking just as a banker.
Mm-hmm.
Now you work in this big bank, controlling your own destiny. So you've been through all the classes. How many classes have you done? Just estimate.
Whew. A lot.
How many countries have you been traveled to? How many countries have you traveled to?
Oh, yeah. 15, maybe, give or take. Yeah.
You're a minister, you're an elder, you're a father, you're a husband. How long is your marriage?
17 years, sir.
17 years married. So when I look at just that part of your life, not the plaques that I don't see and the stuff that's on the wall, but when every time somebody talks to you, they get all that. And it ain't free. It shouldn't be. There's too much value there. Are you kidding me? And so because you being you, that's what people are after. They're not after somebody else. They're after you. Of all, I don't know how many people in the world there are. You guys could probably type in how many people in the world, billions or zillions or whatever. But really, how many people do you need following you to be a success? 10, 20, 30? Because ultimately, I know I'm going to touch 1 million people, but I'm not going to touch 1 million people. It's going to be through all the people I touch. And they're going to touch more people. Like right now, my judge, I'm pushing her. Next thing, I already started talking to her about governor. I'm like, oh no, you're going to be governor. And if she becomes governor, just from one touch, that lead to this touch, lead to this bigger touch. Are you guys following me? So now when it comes to you, I need you guys to start getting a mental dossier of what you've already accomplished. And the reason I want you to do that is because sometimes that's why you play yourself cheap, because you forget all you've been through. All the pain, all the perseverance, all the bad relationships, all that stuff you've been through, somebody needs to hear that. And somebody needs that help. So just think about that. Think about that. What's going on, Mr. Terrence, my nephew? What's going on, young blood? Good to see you on tonight, man. All the way from Florida.
Yes, sir. Do you hear a background sound? Because I got the fan on. I can turn it off if it's loud.
No, I don't hear it. I don't hear it.
Okay, that means I'm doing good. All right. Yeah, I'm doing great, though. I'm glad I made it. And it's a blessing right here. So I greatly appreciate that. Yeah. So my bad. What was the question though again?
That's okay. It's to where what is stopping you from shifting to that next phase of where you know you should be versus where you're at right now?
Yeah, I call it the analysis paralysis, but I believe you call it like collecting a lot of information and having the lack of executing. Because, yeah, like definitely having that talk and like it's like a blind spot that I had saw. And I feel as though that's been these past months been kind of like slowing me down, the execution skill.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, man, you executed this week, man. You got that LLC, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Appreciate that. That was crazy. I thought I was gonna, you never know if you don't try. That's what you said. So that just happened faster than I thought. And I got the EIN too. So yeah.
Beautiful. Now, what I want you to do is I'm gonna push you one more step. Apply for that business credit card.
Oh yeah.
Let's go for it, man. And,
All
and
right.
you're in a good spot. So keep moving in that direction. But once again, going through, especially for you, because you do a lot of videos and stuff. And so I know a lot of that is so amazing. So now it's just a matter of keep cranking the content. Keep cranking the content. So to the point to where you like, dang. Because I mean, not even talking to you like I've been talking to you about the different content. We haven't really talked about content, but I know you already got a lot of stuff there. Now the key is getting what's in you out of you to the point to where it's so out there. I have a goal. I told my marketing girl, I want to be everywhere. Every time you turn on something, I want to be there to where you get sick of me. I want you to get sick of seeing my face. Like, what? Who is this dude? And he's in London. He's in Paris. He's here. He's there. What people call me now about trips that I was on 6 months ago. Say, man, you was on that. Are you on that trip? And I said, man, that was 6 months ago. Because I guess when I'm just living my life, and some of you guys, I know you want to keep more of a private life, but because of who you are, people are excited about your life. So just give them some glimpses of it. Let them know, number one, you're human. Let them know, number two, you're balanced. And of course, number three, let them know you're a professional. And so once you do those things, once people believe, like, and trust you, matter of fact, write that down, type it in my chat. Once people believe, like, and trust you, they're going to buy from you. Just remember that. But they got to believe, like, and trust you. And some of you got 10 people right now you can think of that believe, like, and trust you that you should be selling some product to. Matter of fact, tonight, what time is it? Yeah, well, except my people on the East Coast, but my people on the West Coast, yeah, you got time to call them 10 people that you know that believe, like, and trust you, and they will buy something from you tonight. Okay? But that's how you got to move. You got to move like that. Got to move like that. Good. I'm sorry, Terrence, good job, man. Appreciate you. Good stuff. I know Robbie just dropped on. Miss Williams, Gloria, what is that thing for you? Well, actually, I think you're breaking some barriers. I'm very excited.
I think to what my very.
Oops, I'm sorry. I just muted you. Unmute yourself.
I said, I think what that barrier was at one point in time was just that lack of confidence, knowing that I could do it, but just still not feeling as confident as I probably should have been in what I was doing. I think in my line of business, because things are constantly changing and the laws are constantly changing, that I'm always having to go through updates and trying to retain all of the information. Sometimes it can be interesting. So yeah, that was my case, but still trying to progress and move forward in the midst of it.
Well, the good thing is I believe you're doing a great job moving forward. Because once again, guys, sound like to me, and when I talk to, just so you know, every client I have is always about the execution of it. It's not that you don't have the knowledge. It's not that you don't have the ability. I believe that there's some hardworking broke people. Think about that for a minute. There's some hardworking broke people. They're not lazy. They don't want it. They want it. They want to be blessed. All those things. But just think about what's holding them back. Think about people, and I know some of you guys don't want to admit this, but there's some people that are smarter than you. And you look at them, and you're like, you should be doing way more than what I'm doing, but they're just low-level living. And then there's some other people that's a whole lot dumber than you. and they living on the next level, and you sitting there mad at them like, I can't believe they ain't even got no good content. And whoop, 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 whoop. But you know the difference is between them and you? They doing it. So at some point, anybody that's a fan of music, there's some garbage out there. But why is the garbage selling? Because the good people that got good stuff ain't putting out what they got. Because they're thinking that, well, the market's already saturated, and really, I'm not going to stand out in the midst of this market. And it's like, who said that? Oh, that's your internal thing that stops you from going any further than what you feel comfortable. Guys, if I don't do nothing, I'm going to slap all y'all in order to move to the next level, you're going to be uncomfortable. You're going to be stretched. My organization, my nonprofit, just today received over 250 turkeys to give away. So we're gonna be giving away 250 turkeys on next Monday. I started out that organization with 1 or 2 bags. Well, Coleman was there, a couple bags he was giving out the back of the library. This year we're giving out over 200,000 pounds, almost 300,000 pounds of food. Now 250 turkeys, 4 or 5 locations. And people say, well, how did you do it? I kept going. Matter of fact, let me give you a quick story. I remember when I first went into a big room. Coleman can attest to this. I'm gonna bring Coleman in on this. Coleman came back to check on me. I was in the back crying like a baby. He had to console me because I was so overwhelmed with the moment. But as he knew, I dusted off myself and we went out there and we killed it. And so what happens, guys, is not how you feel. Don't get caught up in that. It's the actual doing of it. Some of you, let me tell you this, just sidebar real quick. Your job is just to get to the stage. I don't care what's going on around you. Once you get to the stage, it's like showtime for you. Anybody on here that you know what I'm talking about, you can be tired as a dog, but say you got a Zoom, or say you got something you got to do. It's like all of a sudden you go from to ding, showtime. So that lets me know when you have that moment, that's what you're after. You're after that moment. That is your perfect moment when now you are in your place of peace, your place of perfection. Because when you can do it sick, broke, busted, jacked up, then that to me is perseverance to get to that level. What if you started living for that moment and persevered to get there? Type in my chat, here's another affirmation, I belong on stage. Type affirmation, I belong on stage. Put me in, coach. Somebody said, put me in, coach. Some of you guys don't realize it yet, but I'm trying to push you to get to that point, but you got to persevere through all the bad stuff. I mean, when you really think about it, your gifting is stage. So anybody that don't like that, but on this group, we're going to applaud you just like we applaud you for making more money. I like to hear about you making money. I'm happy about you making money. I get excited about you making money because I realize your money don't affect my money. Okay. All right, let's go no further, guys. All right, who else I got on here? I got Roderick, man. Give me something, man. I got Coach. Is that Coach Troy on here? Is that the championship coach? The championship. I was talking Troy. I was talking about you, man. But Roderick, real quick, before I get to Troy, Roderick, man, what's that thing for you, man? What's that thing that's you got to get through it? Uh-oh, can I get through to Rod? I'll come back to Rod. Rod, I'll come back to you. All right, Angie, give it to me. What you got?
Okay, the question was, what's that thing that's holding me back or what I'm struggling with?
Yeah, what's that almost like I want to say a stopping point or what's that, a stoppage or a blockage that's stopping you to get that next point?
It is managing my finances. That is, I want to say, my biggest Achilles heel. It is. I don't like to share that with everyone, but yeah, I let it put limitations on things that I do and how I move forward and how I stop progress. Is because I'm just gonna say I suck at it. I don't suck at it. I've grown from saying that word. I'm creative with finances, but it still causes me great problems. So yes, in turn, I have to, in some points, become more resourceful and doing different things. It doesn't stop me, but I let it slow me down a lot. So that is my issue.
Well, I like the way, number one, thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. Those are big things. Those are personal things. But when it comes to where we're trying to get you to, is what I call a money block. In other words, for somewhere and some reason, either is I don't feel worthy enough, or either I feel a scarcity mentality. And so to overcome that, you have to now use personal affirmations. You know, like I use when I say every day, money comes to me easily and effortlessly, continuously on a regular basis. In other words, you get to a point where now you start telling yourself, I am a financial guru. Money is drawn to me. I am a money magnet. In other words, get to a place to where you start speaking what you want to be. I got a client who is a smoker. I told him some advice that he started laughing. He said, what? I said, tell you what, from now on, every time you smoke a cigarette, you tell yourself, I'm not a smoker. This is not me. This is not who I am. And I told him, I said, keep doing that for about a week or two, and let's see what happens. Don't you know he stopped smoking? Because what it was is he was playing a bad tune in his head the whole time. I'm a smoker. I'm gonna die. And then he's a Christian, so he's like, I can't do this. So I said, no, just tell yourself, this is not who I am. While you're doing it. And the funny thing is, somewhere subliminally in your mind, it starts clicking that this is not who I am. But once again, I like the way you change that word too, from I suck at something to, hey, you start shifting it, but start putting little affirmations all over the place. I use index cards. I know it's kind of cheesy, but put something on the index card. And every time you start feeling a certain way about money, pop it out. Money is drawn to me. I'm a money magnet. And I don't use the word I'm out of debt. I use the word I owe no man nothing. That sounds better. I owe no man nothing. In other words, start looking at how you're talking about money. Because remember, the thing that you talk about, it runs from you. The things you talk good about, it comes towards you. So that's why I don't have a problem talking about money. You know, because when you okay with money, you can talk about money all day long. You know, now the people that are the fins when I talk about money are those that have money blocks, that don't believe that they can do the things that I'm talking about doing. You know, like who says that, oh, I just got 250 turkeys. Who gets 250 turkeys? Well, I got 250 turkeys. Because I believe that money is drawn to me. And on top of that, people gave me money to get the turkeys, plus even more so that I needed. But once again, guys, get to a point to where you get past that blockage, because some of that is just what was taught to you, or maybe it was something you picked up along the way. But the good news is, Angie, you're overcoming it, because I see you're putting so much more into your business and doing some other stuff. So you're on a good track. It's just that one little tweak, and watch the money start flowing to you. You know, I love it when you say money comes to me easily and effortlessly. Start using that. Money comes to me easily and effortlessly. Matter of fact, I don't got no money problems. You know, I make money in my sleep. You know, get to a point where you start saying those things, because I said those things years ago, and guess what? Now it's happening. I wake up in the morning, I get a little ding, money in my account. And I don't got no certain paydays. I want every day to be a payday. I don't want, well, I get paid on the 1st and the 30th. No. I want to get paid every day. So get to a point where you are expecting to get paid every single day. Get out of that 15th and 30th mindset. Oh, I'm waiting for my paycheck. No, forget that. Care less about the paycheck. I'm so focused on income that as the money's coming in, I'm not thinking about that money. I'm thinking about making more money. So in other words, if you change what you're thinking about, you'll start chasing it differently. Okay? So focus on the income and it'll cover all your other problems. That's why I'm worried about gas and all this other stuff. Okay? Good stuff, guys. Good stuff. I know It's just one of those things. I know affirmation, once again, this is something that most people don't persevere long enough in to see the results. It's like, I'm gonna do it one time, it didn't work. Well, you gotta keep doing it. You gotta keep putting it out there. I do it every single morning. Me and my wife actually do affirmations every single morning. Every single morning. Because when you start speaking that stuff in the atmosphere, then now, just remember this, guys, a thought is where stuff is made. Once it comes out of your mouth, that's the manifestation of. Okay? Because then once you speak that thing out there, it's gonna start forming itself. But if you don't speak it, then how can it form itself? Just a thought. I'm just talking out loud. I'm sorry, our time is running short. Let me get one or two more people. Who wants to share? Dr. Tiffany, come on, give it to me, girl. Give it to me. I know you're there. Oh, where's she at? There she is.
Okay, so my issue is when life changes. So not that I'm not trying to do business and finances or whatnot. When family situations call, it's like a split between trying to, like for me, my mother's on hospice. And I went from being a single person, staying alone, working business, to a full-time 24/7 caregiver overnight. And so trying to take care of her and manage her health, her care, her eating schedule, her changing schedule, and trying to have a business, and it's overwhelming. It's very overwhelming. So it's like when I finally get her situated, trying to keep up with business, I'm drained, exhausted, tired, overwhelmed, mentally, emotionally, physically stressed. So trying to figure out a way to get a happy median. And then I went from being able to come home to just sleep to not being able to leave home at the moment.
This is a interesting thing, because this is a part of life. You know, we, as like myself and you, we're now facing that next phase of our parents' life, to where now they're going to need us because maybe they weren't prepared or didn't have enough things laid out. And sickness comes to us all. So by no means am I going to brush over what you're dealing with, because this is a part of the journey, your journey. Okay. But in that, I always say to myself, if I get what I'm doing working, then it will take care of everything else that I'm concerned about. And sometimes I know the thing that you're concerned about, it seems to be taking your time. But then my next question I had to ask you is, what help do you have? Do you have help? You're not using the help. Maybe there's programs out there. I know it's hard when you're in it to kind of see outside of it. And also sometimes we want to be the one to do it all. And that's something that you have to ask yourself, do I have the grace to do that? I've had something just happen in my life recently. I had to ask the question to myself, do I have the grace to do this? And the answer was, I don't know yet. The jury is still out. But I had to ask the question, because anything that you're doing that's outside of your grace of what you can do will make you depressed, tired, wore out, beat down. And remember, I just talked about getting on stage. And when you're on stage, it's like you get all this energy, all this excitement, because that's where you should be. Now, when you're in the opposite of that, then that means that now you're not where you're graced to be. And finding out now, what can I do to shift some things? And this is not an overnight process, obviously, but it's one of those things to where I know right now, and I'm going to use myself, and we're going to get ready to wrap up, guys. I apologize for the time. But on a personal note, I thought about this just today. So this is interesting you brought this up, Ms. Tiffany. I asked myself, if my mom got sick, would I have the grace to take care of her? And the answer was no. My wife's mother got sick. We didn't have the grace to take care of her. So what I had to do was I had to go to work. And for me, my being a blessing to her is now, like even now with my mom, I'm making sure that everything is set to where when she finally tells me she doesn't want to work anymore, she won't have to. So for me, I'm being a blessing to her by knowing my grace level. But I do understand and I sympathize with you, and I will absolutely keep your mother in prayer. And we'll talk some more offline about that. But I don't want to seem hard or anything. But the question I want you to ask yourself is, am I graced for this? And if I'm not graced for this, now the question is, what other resources can I use that can help me to get through this phase right here? But like I said, we'll talk offline. Thank you so much for sharing. We will keep your mother in prayer. And we know that God is a healer. I absolutely know that personally. All right. So bless God for you. Thank you so much. Brother Troy, are you on with us? I see that fancy picture, man. That's a championship picture.
Good evening, all. How y'all doing?
Man, we're doing good. I was just talking about you earlier, man. I said, Coach Troy, going to the ship, going to the championship.
Yeah. It's Monday, you guys. If you guys got a chance at 9 a.m. It's a bit early, but
At Raider Stadium.
yes. Yeah, it's a good question I'm tapping in on. When you do get a chance, I'll send you a text as well. You can just send it to me. I think my answer is still the same about increasing my capacity. But what I am understanding is it's about the compartmentalization and the importance, or let's say priority, the prioritizing of everything. So it's just organization as I'm taking more, right, and stepping into my grace, right? And yeah, that's kind of what I see. So as much as sometimes I want to rush things, I know I have to be patient. That's an ever growing, ever changing, life experience, test, dynamic component. But that's pretty much it, to be honest, you guys. I mean, I'm always learning. I love learning, to be honest. I
You know,
think
I
this
tell you what,
season
man,
has
you're a
been
phenomenal
one.
student and you're doing some great stuff. And I am over excited about the opportunity that you've done. I mean, you did the work, and man, the results are amazing. I mean, you took a group of young men that people would count out, and now they're about to get and become champions again.
Yeah.
Amazing, man. Amazing.
Thank you.
Amazing. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Keep shining. Keep shining. All right, guys, I'm gonna go a little further and then we're gonna get you out of here. So last thing is I want to ask you a hard question. And I know with these Zooms, my whole purpose, guys, is to push you, to prod you, to make you start looking at it from a mental and physical standpoint, okay? Who did you vow to be great for? Who was it? Was it for yourself? Was it for your spouse? Was it for your kids? Was it for your mama? I mean, who did you vow to be great? Who did you say that I have to do this for? It might be you. It might be someone else. Some of you, if you have someone else, it's probably better because you would actually do it for someone else more so than you would do it for yourself. You know what I'm saying? So for me personally, I remember my sons. I told myself that I wanted my sons to be able to look up to their dad, to know that their dad was a man of integrity, a godly man, a man that loved his family, and a man of wealth. Because I wanted to show them that they can have it all, that they didn't have to just have one part or one piece of life, but they can have it all. They can enjoy their whole life. So my vow to them, and still is, that I'm gonna trailblaze, open doors for you, and make sure that if nothing else, I set you up for victory. You know, and it's a beautiful thing, guys. But who would you make that vow to? If you're open to it, type in the chat. Who did you make that vow to? Who did you say that I gotta be great? Failure is not an option for me. You know, when I stepped out and did my entrepreneurship, when I first stepped out, and some of you guys heard my story from the actual event that you went to, is I didn't know, but I just knew that where I was at wasn't gonna work. The military was great for me, but I knew it wasn't who I was. I knew that I wanted more. And even now, I still know I want more. I just spoke about the 250 turkeys, but in my mind, I'm like, I want to do 1,000. And some of you are like, well, be happy with those 250. No, that's cool. That's good. That's all right. But when you're on the next level, your mind, it functions differently. But you're thankful for what you have. But who did you guys vow? And do me a favor tonight, when you get a chance, go home or wherever you're at, write down. And then now let that be the thing that every time you want to slow down or stop, you keep going. Guys, my heart to you. I remember there were times I first started out in this business and I literally would be a stalker. Because I told myself, if I didn't make a sale tonight, my babies wasn't eating. And that wasn't absolutely false, but it wasn't absolutely true either. But I made a mental thing of, if I don't do this tonight, then my babies ain't eating. What if you told yourself, if I don't do this, then something really, really crazy happens? And I know this sounds a little morbid, a little crazy, but think about that for a minute. Who would be jacked up if you don't succeed? Who won't have an opportunity if you don't succeed? Who won't be able to see it done if you don't do it? You don't even listen to people that tell you a bunch of stuff and ain't did nothing. It's like, yeah, I hear you talking, but you ain't doing nothing, so forget you. Don't be that person. Be that person that actually can blaze a trail for people, that they can see what you're doing, and then be that person that can help them do it. All right? All right, guys, I hope you got some value out of tonight. I know this was a little heavy, but that's the way it rolls every now and again. Any questions that you have? I'm gonna give you 3-4 minutes. I know we're over our time, I apologize, but open discussion, questions real quick. Do you have a question burning in your heart? Whatever it is you want to know an answer to. Anyone? Going once, going twice. Everybody still mad at me? Y'all mad at me? I love you. I'm your coach. I'm not gonna I'm sorry. I'm not gonna be that person that's gonna say, oh, that was so good. Oh. I'm gonna be that person like, oh, what's next? So you put out one video, when you put out the next one? Okay, I get it. You did something that no one, let me give you a secret. You have already surpassed your parents. You have left them in the dust. So please don't let that be your goal no more. Okay? Let's get beyond that. Let's start looking at some bigger stuff. Okay? All right. But you know, I love you. I love you. Okay, no questions. Everybody good? All right. Okay. I want to make sure. I was gonna check that out. All right. Did I miss a hand? Everybody's good? Okay. Hit your goals challenge. All right. Tomorrow, I want updates. What did you do? What have you done? I want to know what you have done since we started this Hit Your Goals Challenge this month. I want to know numbers. I want to know, give me 5 things, email me. I will be expecting this. 5 things that you've done since this Goals Challenge started in the 1st of November. Okay, because we're actually, 17 days in? So I need to know, what have you done? This Friday, check in this Friday. Do not check in with me. Make sure you check in with me. This Friday, I want to know what you're doing, okay? Guys, don't go alone. I want you to make sure that you know that I'm here to help you. Of course, I do all these things. I don't do them all individually, but I have a team. I have a network. You guys are now part of that network, okay? Of course, this class, if I'm giving you value, then I want to make sure you understand in your life, think about this. It's always going to come back to seed time harvest. You can't expect a harvest if you don't sow a seed. And you can't expect from others what you won't do yourself. I spent $10,000 to go see my coach live. I have another coach I'm trying to get to, but just to get to him is $50,000. But guys, the last coach got me 3 to 4 times my income. That $10,000 made me. What's going to make you? You have to ask yourself that. You know, what am I willing to give up to get more? Or am I going to hold it tight in my hand when really what you have is not your harvest? Okay? So anyway, I'm here to help. So I'm here every month. One-on-ones, guys, I'm telling you, you want to get in on the one-on-one. I think many of you can attest the one-on-one sessions are hot. Some of you are going to be doing the strategy sessions, which are good, but you really need to get to me every single week and deal with your particular situation. Some of you, I am waiting on you. I want to work with you one-on-one. And I know some of you are like, well, I just can't do it. Well, make it happen, because I promise you it will be worth it. All right. All right, guys. 0 to 30 days, new business. Those that haven't gotten their business off the ground, I will get you set up in 30 days. It could save you time, effort, and money. Okay. And that is the end. Other than that, guys, I appreciate you. You guys are rock stars. Keep doing what you're doing and make sure you persevere, because I promise you, your best days are ahead of you. Your worst days are behind you. Be great. I got nothing but love for you. Peace. Hey, guys, all those that are able to, Delshana, let me talk to you for a quick second. We're planning an event. And so those that can hang on with me. Those that can't, I totally get it. And plus, you guys on the East Coast, appreciate you. Thank you so much for being on tonight. I pray you got some value to help you go. All right, you guys be cool. My guys here in Vegas, if you can't hang out with me for just a little bit,